Hi, I'm Andrew Potocnik and I'm going to be talking about chucks and combinations of jaws that you can use for your wood turning projects. When it comes to turning, one of the main things that you need to consider is how you hold your material on the lathe. And one of the best methods of doing that is to use a scroll chuck. This is the basic Belladonna 100mm scroll chuck. Straight out of the box, all that I've done is I've assembled the spanner. When you take the chuck out, you'll find that there's something missing, and that is an insert. You need to buy an insert that will suit the thread on your lathe. In this case, I'm using a metric 30 or an M30. So I have the insert that suits my thread and also screws into the back of the chuck. The beauty of a scroll chuck is that it can be used either in contraction or expansion mode. And in the case of this scroll chuck, you can close it down to about 44mm and a maximum of 94mm so that you can grip the piece of wood that you're working on. When we're talking about expansion and contraction modes, what we're really referring to is when the jaws either close in to grip onto the outside of a piece of wood, we call that contraction mode, or if we reverse the motion of the jaws and we open them up to hold onto the inside of an opening, we call that expansion mode. Using the chuck in contraction mode, I could hold onto this piece of wood simply by gripping this tenon here. So all that I do is I place the wood inside the jaws of the chuck with the spanner. I tighten the jaws until they grip the wood firmly, and then I'm free to put the wood onto the lathe and work on this side of the bowl without any interference. If you're holding onto this piece of wood in expansion mode, what we're trying to do is to use the outer edges of these jaws to open up and grip into the recess in the piece of wood. So if you find that in this particular case the jaws don't travel far enough, you can change to another set of jaws which have a broader outer surface area, and they will fit into this particular opening. Using the chuck is quite easy. I've fitted my insert which suits the thread on my lathe, so this is an M30 thread. I can now simply thread that on, making sure that the chuck is wound on all the way, and I'm ready to use the chuck. In this particular case, I'm going to hold on to a tenon that I turned on the bottom of a bowl so that I can then hollow out the inside of the bowl. Closing the jaws, making sure that I've tightened the jaws firmly, checking to see that there's no movement, I can now start to work. And as you can see, the Belladonna chuck runs perfectly truly. If you're working on a project that these jaws don't suit, there is a range of extra jaws that are interchangeable with these chucks that you can change over to with a minimum of fuss. Belladonna jaws and chucks are available exclusively from Timbecon, either in Perth or here in Melbourne in Coburg, or online at timbecon.com.au. Attached via these little screws here, and there will be a jaw that will suit your